Two kids from Queens, cut from a different cloth. Now joining forces, helping you to elevate your personal brand. Yeah, I'm talking about Nicky and Moose, bringing you a never-before-seen perspective into the mindset, the mentality, the behaviors, the driving force, but more importantly, the stories behind the people and brands that you know and love the most.
Was poppin', was poppin', was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the YouTube Livey. Wait, did I do the right thing? Yeah, I did. Okay, air horns. You know, it depends on the after show. Yeah, I was scared for a quick second. I was. Welcome, everybody. Do me a favor. Share this with somebody. If you're watching the replay, we appreciate you. We love you. But if you're just joining in, please share this with somebody. Text somebody. Say, yo, they're on. You got to watch this. However you want to do this. I don't know how you talk. I don't even know if you go, I'm cool with that. Right? But shout out to everybody who already listened to the podcast. Episode 46, I think. Are we up to 46? I'm not sure.
46 it is. Yeah.
Yep. Episode 46. If you haven't, please go check it out. We talked about negotiations. We talked about NFTs. We talked about being second and not being first. And we talked about literally the formula of social media. So once again, there's a lot of things we talked about. I really just hate saying that. I sound very cliche.
No, I mean, hey, we try and cover a lot in an hour. And so it's a lot going on.
Yeah, okay, but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
You're looking crispy.
Yeah. Thanks. I was at the barber today. You know, I got my little...
I was talking about your camera, but that works too.
Oh, okay. Shoot. Well, hey, I'll take both. I'll take both compliments. Let's go. Yeah. No, I mean, hey, man, my ISO, you know what I'm saying? For those of you who know.
Oh, my God.
The day ones, y'all know I'm not the techiest, but I've learned about the importance of ISO and,
yes.
We making it work. So, yeah, shout out to Nix and the squad for helping me get that right.
Shout out to people who know what ISO means instead of ISO.
Yeah, I have no idea. What does it mean? What is it? ISO?
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Another time.
That's another time. We'll talk about it some other day.
We'll save it for another time. Man.
Oh, he's in rare form, people. He is in rare form. He is feeling super energized. Hold on.
Hey, hold up.
I see you. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing there. Shout out to everybody who is just joining. We see y'all. I'm trying to put as much. Shout out to one of our winners, Elgin. You know. Green Line Project is in the building. Shout out to Ash. You know what I mean? Elgin said episode 46 was a whole e-course. Man, I'm glad somebody said it instead of myself.
Seriously. Seriously.
I don't want to be the only one that says, yo, this was a whole masterclass. This was a whole course. This was a whole program that should have been paid for. But then it'd be like, Nikki, you're doing too much. You probably think too big of yourself. Whatever. Anyway.
Right. I mean, hey, somebody's got to do it.
Big facts. Yo, okay, side note. Did you see, right? YouTube, don't flag me because I'm speaking about this topic. Did you see that? Remember, Texas was the very first state to say no more mask, right? Mm-hmm, you know, the person who said that caught the Delta.
Really?
Yes.
Like the governor or whoever,
senator, whatever that official was, they caught it. Damn. I'm just saying, don't be so quick to be outside. I'm cool at home. I promise you. I know you want to be outside. However, people are, and that's how quickly Delta's rising. Go ahead. That's how quickly Delta's rising. I want no parts of it.
I know.
I'm gonna make my travel.
Crazy.
I'm making my travel and I'm coming right back home real quick, fast, in a hurry, and I'm staying home for a little bit, probably until 120.
You think there'll be I just can't see I can't see another pandemic or I shouldn't say pandemic, another quarantine the way it was, when we first started. I don't know. I can't see the people agreeing to another quarantine.
I don't know if it's going to be another quarantine. I just think it's going to be a lot of people who are going to be sick. There was a state that only had like 2 beds left. I mean, that's not.
Dang.
That's not what we're doing. Not what we're doing.
Hey man, wash your hands, exercise, and eat good, please. Wash your hands, exercise,
you saw
and eat good.
Jim Jones got it, and Drake.
No, but here's my thing though. I get the messaging about vaccines, masks. Look, if that's your choice and that's how you want to live your life, no doubt. But where's the messaging about, here's how you get your immune system. Let's do, here's the importance of exercise. Here are some benefits to 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe Jim Jones
was exercising every day. I'm
talking mainstream. Where has been that messaging from mainstream?
Listen, I don't get it.
Fair, right? That's a fair. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just wanted to see a little.
I'm just getting healthy. So if I get healthy and I catch it, right. I'm telling you, I'm never gonna be. I'm never gonna be healthy again. I promise you this. I'm never gonna be healthy again. Imagine. God forbid,
eating the greasy food keeps you protected.
Everybody, listen. Everybody in the chat, please put some prayer hands because I don't want to speak bad upon my life. But if I get all this healthiness going on right now, smoothies, salad, grain bowls, all that great stuff, and I catch it.
Crazy.
I can't
see that happening.
Back
How many
to
miles
the
are you doing a day
cookies.
right now?
I did. Today was an off day. And I just wanted to practice eating good. So we're good. I'm probably gonna do a few my little crunches exercise, but that was it. I'm not doing cardio today. You know what I mean?
Nice. You know what's been a new and hey, shout out to everyone who's rocking with us, just getting an update. We're just doing a little chat, I guess. But what's been a new little form of cardio for me? Basketball. Crazy. Been shooting. I've been using basketball as a way to.
You can't shoot.
Well, I'm all right. Like, I've actually been working on my shot. I used to be terrible when I was younger. You would shoot with both hands. I'd be one of those shots.
Really?
But now I'm
that's
actually.
So cute.
I'm getting better.
How do you get an all button? Aw.
Mm-hmm. No, it's happening. So, it's a little nice form of cardio. You'll see it. You come in, you'll see it.
Oh, you don't want to see you don't want to see the shot.
You'll be in the spot.
You don't want to see these shots.
I'm excited for that, actually.
Just letting you know that. You don't want to see the shot. It'll hurt your feelings. You'll go back to that.
Hey, no, I'm supporting. Imagine. Oh my God, this is so good.
It feels amazing.
So good. Yeah, but a good form of cardio, though. Yeah, sorry, bro. Sorry, man. I used to be terrible. Baseball was my sport, but now I'm trying out this basketball thing in my older age. So it's working out.
I ain't mad at it. All right, what we talking about? What we talking about today?
So the crazy thing is, typically whenever I come up with a topic for Tuesdays, I always like to go on Google and be like, all right, what's the people on Google talking about? Like, what are the people researching, right? And whenever I put in the topic or an idea or something along the lines of what I want to talk about, I'll see a whole bunch of articles, a whole bunch of videos. Like, there's usually a lot of content about, I want to say 90 to 95% of the topics that we've already touched on. When I put in work while you wait, patience, and all these other things today, I only found a couple of sources. So it tells me that it's one of those things that, and it's funny, one of the top videos that came up was actually E's TGIM. Like, that was literally the first thing. That probably is because of what I've been searching, so I'm sure that, but I was like, hey, that's dope. The fact that he came up, that was cool to see. But my point is, it gives me the indication that not a lot of people are talking about this idea of patience, and then more importantly, work while you wait. So I went on and did a little research, and I said, what percentage of the population struggles with being impatient right now? And they said as much as 76% of Americans in the US struggle with impatience. And I'm like, 76, that means 3 in every 4 are impatient about something. Right. Now, you can argue that it's because we live this microwave type lifestyle, because of technology, because of how fast and convenient much of our lives are. Probably first world problems, and boy, are we grateful for them. But when you start talking about personal, professional, business, or brand growth, that's one of those things that can hurt you a long way. And I don't think a lot of people notice it. So that impatience factor, from one level, I could see how we can benefit on a sense of urgency. But on the flip side of it, being impatient when it comes to growth, probably one of the most dangerous things to have. So I was like, okay, no, we got to bring this to Nicky and Moose and talk about this live. As you know, Tuesdays we use to cover the person in the personal brand, obviously trying to lock in with the people, giving them a few keys so that they can, just have some things to work over. So I want to talk with you about this idea today. Shout out to Jamie, my boy Jay Lav. I want to talk with you about this idea today, just to kind of like, as always, see if there was personal experience, maybe something you've dealt with. I'll try and think of something I dealt with it around this concept of being impatient, and then lessons, because we're entering what I would consider in one of the projects that we're working on, a waiting season, right? And as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, it's not the most fun. Like, it's not fun, and you're not making the most money. You're not doing a lot of this stuff, but there is a lot of great a lot of great lessons, a lot of great adjustments that we're making during this time period. But there's a level of kind of maturity that has to be there for us to make that transition. So just want to talk about it. Maybe you can pull from, that most recent experience, keeping some things a little vague, because, I got to say, don't say everything. But talk to us about that first, man. Any personal experience around being impatient?
I could talk about this because it's my personal situation.
Okay.
So this is my,
okay.
So right now, pretty much doing the community from scratch, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So for those who don't know, I got froggy, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. I got froggy, and when it came to creating a community in the beginning, boom, created a community, right? No true structure, and just I had to do it because they said create a community, right? I was looking back at it today, and I was like, man, I probably lost a few people because I didn't really have the patience to really sit down and figure this out, right? So now, even though that, there is a following, there's tribe members, there's people who are like, yo, love to, like, what we doing? I'm keeping it very simple until all things are structured out. Even going back, and shout out to Ashley, even going back to what is the big purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Like, let's lay that out. Let's lay out what are the, what's going to happen in a month, what's going to happen on a weekly basis, things like that. I'm having conversations with Kurt. I'm having conversations with you, right? But appreciating being a little bit more patient now and not running straight to it. Like, I was speaking to somebody, and shout out to P, right? She was like, yo, if this was me, like, I would have already had like 4 courses, this, that, and the third, and you're really being patient. But I see what you're doing, because you're kind of just setting up for like something that's longer, because you've seen what it does when you create right away. You've seen it from your own standpoint, and then from other people's standpoint. Like, what happens when there's a random idea and it's like, all right, let's create it. Boom, cool. Here, y'all figure it out. And then I'll come back later on in life. Maybe. Right? I think, but if you create it correctly first and not just run off of the first idea, the thing is, like, an idea is, for some of us, I'm not going to say for everybody, but for some of us, having a new idea isn't hard, right? So you don't have to jump on it right away. I understand speed kills, but literally speed kills at the same time. Like it kills the trust. It kills,
wow, that's good.
You know, it kills the loyalty. It kills, you know, the good things that they were saying about you, and now it's a little bit flawed. Right? Giving grace to an extent, but still like, I remember when you did this. Right? And I know I have that on my brand for certain people, like, I remember when you did this. But because I'm in an environment of like, you know, go and fix it while you go kind of vibes and things like that. I'm like, in this season that I'm in, I'm like, nope. I'm not in a true rush. Because I know when it comes out, it's going to be different than anything else, right? It's going to be, they rushed to something that was similar to what was already out there. They may have added an extra twist, right? What we're creating is something that isn't out there, right? It's a bond that's not out there. It's a community that's not out there just yet. It's a structure that isn't out there yet, right? It's a gap. And so you can't really rush that just to say, hey, I'm here. Even though there's sometimes, like I did a live yesterday about community because I was so amped up about a conversation. And I could have been like, boom, waiting list, boom, bring y'all in and we'll figure it out. Everybody go work. But that's not fair to myself and then to the people who rock with us, because now they have to go on full sprint when that wasn't their choice to. Now they'll do it because they rock, but that's not really what they had planned out. But because of how maybe I was super spontaneous with like, let's go. Like I sell clouds. I know I sell clouds. Shout out to all my brand prep people. I sold a cloud and I made it work. And as we went, they got a video every single week and I literally made it the day before. Like, so I know after that, I was like, oh, we can't do that again. We can't, it's not even worth it. Now, at the same time, I know people were like, well, you're sleeping on money, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. It's not that deep for me.
Wow. I love what you said, though. Speed kills, but speed kills, literally. Right? Like, yeah, you can have the sense of urgency to jump out something. Like you said, I don't want to leave money on the table. I need to fix something fast, or just crazy glue something, duct tape something together, make it work. We'll figure it out as we fly. In some cases, fair, no problem.
Yep.
But at the same time, speed kills long-term growth.
Yep.
Speed kills proper scale. Right? And of course, speed kills proper planning. Shout out to Ash. I see her in the chat. She said there is power in planning. So what are some pieces of advice? I mean, like, I can understand the pressures of it. And I'll kind of play devil's advocate here for a second, because with the rise of personal branding, my prediction actually is that personal brands are going to be the new kind of like education platform, you know, in the next decade. So like colleges and personal brands are actually going to swap. Yep. So like right now, or at least for the most part, you've always looked at people getting college degrees as that big celebration moment. I think at some point that's going to continue to water down, and it's certifications through personal brands, different personal brands in different categories that are going to override or have more significance in the marketplace of like, oh, wow, you got a certification of completion from XYZ's course. They started off as a personal brand under whatever categories. We're actually going to, right, take that into the marketplace and compensate based on it. So that's my prediction, right? That in the next decade, we're going to see a swap where personal brands are going to become the true hub for education.
Yep. But
right now, I know that there is some pressure because everyone is looking to launch some form of brands. They understand the importance of it. Even if you're employed, you're thinking about your personal brand. So, like, I understand the pressure, but again, the fact that we're becoming overly impatient with getting things now, right? What are some things that you would say somebody should consider to stay patient kind of as you are now? Like you've made your mistake, but what are some things you would tell somebody just to help them stay patient? Whether that's they learn, they build, they test, like what can they do in the meantime while they wait? Because we're telling them, yo, wait, but you got to do something in the process while you're waiting. And for that to work, you got to stop being impatient. So you actually got to establish some level of patience. So what are some gaps that you would say they should fill in the meantime?
So I'm always going to say that if you're a person that's going to worry about money, then find a stable way to make money that takes the pressure off of your personal brand, right? So what I mean by that is that if anybody like follows my own personal brand knows I don't really sell anything because I don't make my money off of the content that I make. Now I get the few coins here and there based off the platform and things like that. But I don't necessarily sell the courses, the ebooks and all that, the consulting and all that great stuff at this time. All right? At this time. Well, just saying. Because the demand is there, so I understand, right? But I made sure that, and I think at the time that I was rushing, I didn't have something stable in the back end, right? And so you can always tell when there is a need to make money when it comes to your personal brand. Like you could see the different movement, the different marketing waves that a person does, right? And so you have to make sure that for your personal brand that lasts for a long-term situation, what is that one thing or skill that you can do that at least makes sure that you got bread in the bank so you don't have to make those, okay, I got to do a webinar now. I got to do this. I got to do that. Okay, let me sell merch. Let me sell this. Let me sell that. You know, now there was times for me as well where I tried it just to try it, right? You're not going to know what works until you try it. So there was a phase of like, let me try these different things so I can intelligently speak on it, right? But then when I saw the bit of success, I was like, oh, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Because I actually saw the results compared to what was actually coming home at the time. So I'm like, okay. But once the other stuff was stable, right? Once the other stuff was pretty much on auto, right? I'm now like, I can just concentrate on adding value and being able to build correctly, being able to communicate correctly and listen and have fun while listening. You know, doing different things with the lives, doing different things with the polls, getting on Zoom calls randomly with the community and just listening to where they're at with their brands and things like that. So, like, the stability part has to be there so you don't feel pressure with that. 2, the comparison part needs to go away. And we've spoken on this too many times, so I won't go too deep, but I will say some of y'all are comparing y'all first year to somebody's 7th year. And it's just not fair. And though you see what they're doing, that doesn't mean it's the same path for you. I'm all good for trying. I tried. So I'm not going to sit here and say, don't try these things. You're destined to do something so different. You are, but try it. Because you're not going to know what you're destined to do until you try it, right? But we have to, at some point when we realize that we're looking at something way too much and checking for how they're doing or how this brand is doing or what this product is, where they are in the charts, I need you to mute it or unfollow. I muted a lot of stuff this weekend. just because I'm super in this whole getting ready to building and doing all these different things. So I have to mute. So I would say there's just two things. Stability, so there's no pressure, because you'll hear when it comes to like personal brands, like monetize. Oh, you're only here on social media for, I think I said something like that. Like, yo, if there's no reason, then you're here for attention or something like that, right? I don't know if I put the monetization piece in it, but I know I said something like that, right? And so I know eventually people have to get there, and that should be the goal, because you shouldn't spend so much time on something without getting a bag. There's something within return, right? I'm really big on that. Whether it's a relationship that's going to bring a bag offline, I'm cool with that, right? So it's the stability part, and it's the comparison, like blocking the comparison part, that I'll really say that it needs to be like in play.
Wow. I love it. You can see the growth, right? Like you've kind of summarized a lot of the different stages of just starting, seeing some progress or seeing some traction, making the mistakes, course correcting, and now back in that strategic mode, like, okay, hold up. Let's really pull out the blueprint here so that I can figure out what's the best way forward. I love that. Let's jump ahead a little bit now to someone who, they're kind of on that, okay, I've made traction. Like, I've been doing it for a while. I'm actually starting to pick up my pace a little bit. I'm gaining some traction. And let's talk about this waiting season, because one of the things that I'm focused on, at least just in my season right now, is I'm being open-minded to a few different things.
Okay.
And we spoke about this one today, but the fact that I can be totally wrong about what I've originally analyzed, that I could see something and be like, oh, this has got to be it. And then someone says, actually, no. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not taking it offensively. I'm not taking it defensively. I'm just being open-minded to other people's opinions and what they're seeing, because I'm truly tied to the objective and the outcome, and not who gets it right or who contributes to the part of, best way to do it so that they can get credit. There's a quote that says, imagine all that we can accomplish if we stop worrying about who gets the credit. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, it ain't about me getting the credit. It's really figuring out what's the best way forward. Shout out to my auntie for jumping on.
Hey.
Yeah. Now, with that in mind, the second thing that I'm really focused on and studying is marketing. It's marketing, it's branding, it's understanding customer behavior, their buying patterns, and things of that nature. And what I'm coming to realize is that at some point, if you're not extremely careful, if you don't have a product or a service that is an absolute necessity, you are going to burn through your customers' pockets, where it becomes a complete waste for you in all your efforts to bring in more sales or bring in more money. So whether that is ad spend, meaning you're utilizing Facebook ads, some form of marketing platform, and putting ad dollars behind your service or product to generate more sales, you're wasting that because you've burned through their pockets. You're actually ruining your brand reputation, because people are now seeing you as the person who is just money hungry and no longer engaging in that, what we consider like goodwill marketing, right? Like, you're putting out free lives every single day, 5 days a week, the free podcast, that stuff is what builds up goodwill, where somebody's like, man, I appreciate this person, or I appreciate these two for being consistent and dedicated to whatever they're putting out, because although it's free, it's still coming at such a high level. So there are some things that happen when you're just focused on money that can ruin much of what you've worked very hard to build. So in your waiting season, which is kind of what I feel we're about to enter now, there's an opportunity to pull back and say, okay, let's not make this about money. Even if that's not what we're motivated by. In business, quiet as kept, everyone gets caught up in the money at some point, because that's used as almost one of the easiest measurements to consider how successful you are, or to measure success of a business. Oh, well, we made X amount of sales, or we made X amount of dollars. Oh, wow, that's very successful. But when you start adding different factors or different criteria to measure the success of your business outside of money, you're really now becoming kind of like a holistic business in a sense. And by holistic, I mean that you're not just focused on one criteria, you're thinking about the impact and all of these other things, the influence. And we've talked about those 3 I's at some point through even in the certification. So in this waiting season, I'm seeing that there's opportunity to focus on other things, right? And build back the reputation or the relationship between you and your customer. So for those of you who are already involved in some form of transaction, again, you have traction, just know that if I can do it differently, I would stop before crashing, or I would stop before the decline to adjust and cater to some of these different aspects instead of being gun-ho on revenue as a primary factor for success. So yeah, Nix, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but definitely in my season and what I'm seeing, I'm like, okay, there's a way to wait, meaning working your grounds crew. Shout out to everyone familiar with the flight assessment, working your grounds crew, but not in necessarily supporting other people. Part of that support needs to come to you. Like you support your own stuff in a sense to fix it, right? To adjust, to re-up. So yeah, those are just some of the things that I'm seeing, at least on my side as it relates to the concept.
I think it's very important on what you said with the building back the relationships and the reputation. Even if it's one person, like it's important to what I realize when I'm looking at some of these brands is like they may mess up on certain things, right? But the work that they put out consistently afterwards, that they've seen the success and people ranting and raving about it, it makes you want to be like, all right, let me give you another try. Right? Because there was love there. There was love.
Right.
And it's not like you did them completely dirty. It just wasn't what they expected. So there's still love going to be there. Right? The ones that stayed, clearly, ride or dies, you got to give them flowers as much as you can and know them by name and things like that. But like those ones that went away, right? You got to look at it like, oh, well, let me create this, that, and the third. And I think that's where I'm at right now. Like when this comes out, like what you're going to see, you're going to want to be a part of it, right? You're going to be like, yo, that's a complete system. That's like, I can see where I fit in with this, where there are some people that go based off feelings of like, okay, let me do this because it's trending, or let me do this because I talked about it and things like that. And there's no real true roadmap to it. So you spoke about this, you spoke about that, you put out a program about this, you put out a program about that, you know, but then like it's all over the place, where when you come back and you set it up to where it streamlines people no matter what level they're in, and they clearly feel a part of it, and like, oh, okay, that's that. I see where before I didn't, because I was just trying to rock with you, but now I see it. Boom, I want that, right? So I think your work is going to fix that reputation, not necessarily a sorry or even necessarily your presence. It is going to be the work that you put out there and the success of the people that go through your work.
Yeah. And to one of the things that you said about, the importance of no longer comparing, I was catching a glimpse of, and I think this is, I don't know if we can ever do movie night, but at some point when we have this community fully established, I want to do movie night so that we can watch the movie Jobs, right? The movie about Steve Jobs' life with Ashton Kutcher. There are so many lessons to take from that movie. on so many different levels of personal development, professional development, branding, business, leadership. Like I love that movie. But the part that I kind of like struck me today, and I just watched a couple minutes of it, where Steve Jobs was talking about the competition between them, which is Apple, and IBM. And he was like, we're not trying to do it better than IBM. We're trying to do it different. And as simple as that was, I'm like, yo, that's the difference between a long-lasting brand like an Apple that's been around since the 80s and booming, first $1 trillion company. Their problem is they got too much cash on hand, which I can't even imagine, right? But that really is the problem. But they're not in competition with other computer companies, meaning they're not in competition with other personal brands, with other financial gurus, with other speakers. They're not trying to do it better than them. They're trying to do it differently, right? So like even the focus of when you think about a bar like that or a lesson or a principle like that, when you think about something like that, it automatically takes you out of comparison mode because you start looking outward and you start looking inward.
Right.
Okay, how can I do it differently? Like, what do I need to do? Who do I need to become to portray different parts of what I got differently? So then when you start talking about authenticity, that really is authenticity. Like at its core, when you start moving with that type of spirit, you saw something different. And like I said, you had the audacity to follow through and say, okay, I'm going to stand on that. Although it's not popular, it's the best way forward, right? So for those, again, caught in that comparison trap, just know that the greats, when you really listen to how they talk, they'll reveal to you parts of how their minds operated, how they saw the world. And those are the things that probably contributed to their success. So when my man said, we're not looking to do it better, we're looking to do it different.
Yep.
I was like, wow, that's it right there. Like that's a major contribution. So what I've come to realize about quotes is like some people are like, oh man, I don't like quotes. Like this is so cliche, this and that. But I just appreciate quotes because I find that it combines decades worth of experience into one simple phrase.
Yep.
Right? Like who knows how long it took for Jobs to recognize that. But my man gives you a decades of experience, a lifetime's worth of lessons into one simple phrase. So they're like shortcutting that learning curve, something to appreciate. The next thing I want to speak to a little bit too, Nix, is the person who doesn't have an opportunity. So we talked about people who've gotten traction, right? You actually started working a little bit, or you got some things in the works, and we're telling you things to focus on in your waiting season. That's kind of what we're in right now, and we're making a pivot, an adjustment, a pivot, however you want to call it, and we're learning some things along the way. We're having to become almost multidimensional in the process. But I also remember a time where there were no opportunities, where there was nothing to get up and be excited about or to have the energy to run out and build because there was nothing there. And that required a different level of skill, a different level of attributes to prayerfully attract the right opportunities, prayerfully attract the right people. Right. But in that season, there's a level of waiting and a level of work that has to be done as well. Let's chat about that a little bit. I mean, I don't know if you can remember even before Deeper Than the Brand, before Beast Mode, before ETA, like before Extreme Execution, if there was ever a period where there was no opportunity and what you did to start positioning and attracting yourself, because obviously, like we said, there's also work that happens in that season as well.
So I don't think there ever is a time for anybody that there isn't any type of opportunity. I think you create opportunities, right?
I like that.
So you create opportunities in different ways. The easiest one is to serve. Like I was listening to Gary V podcast just earlier, right? Yes, I listen to other people's podcasts. I do. But he was saying like there's a lot of people that want to work for him, right? Yo, I'll work for you for free. I want to work for you for free, right? But it's those who create the opportunity and say, hey, I have this for you. That people are like, now he looks at it like, yo, hold on. Let me figure out how I need this, right? So I think, yes, there isn't opportunities if you sit there and wait for them. Absolutely. Like nothing's going to knock at your door. Like that's God if that does happen. And I mean, and it does to certain people, not probably 95% of the people out there, but it does happen, right? But if it doesn't happen for you, or if you're in that impatient vibe, like God, when is this going to happen? Then what are you doing to create it? And understanding that it takes some type of, like, you have to be a bit humble to be like, you know what? If I want this opportunity, I have to look at that from the highest end, right? And so what is from a very beginning standpoint that I can create, can I do, can I serve or whatever, to at least get them to even understand who I am, right? There is, there was something that I was listening to. Oh man, I forgot who it was. But it was like they wanted to get the attention of somebody, right? So they figured out where they were going to be. Boom, they met him. It's like, oh, okay, cool. The second time, it's like, oh, okay, what's up, right? Third time, like, yo, you keep showing up. And it's a little bit warmer, right? Mm-hmm. And then the next time, it's like, yo, okay, tell me what you do. Tell me what you do. And so it's I'm going to show up regardless if you need me or not. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to have this at all times, regardless if you need me or not, right? Another person who did this well was Kendall, right? For those who know Kendall Ficklin, he always had a book bag of everything. Chargers, water bottle, notebooks, pens, erasers. He had everything in this book bag, right? And they were like, all right, finally, just come on. Like here. Like, I mean, it was like so weird, right? But it sounds like the Spurgo story. Okay, thank you. I was like, I heard it somewhere, right? Sounds like Mall's story. Okay, we have a few people. Sounds like a few people. But the point of that is saying that anybody who says there isn't opportunity, they're not looking for it. They're not trying. They're looking at what movies do, and it's like, oh, here it is. And you're like, yes, praise God. Thank you. I've been waiting for this all my life. I knew it was going to come. That's not real life. I promise you, that's not real life. The people who are successful and where they are is because they did something, right? Now, because of their work and because of how humble they were in the beginning, not saying that they all stay humble, not saying that, right?
Thanks.
But then that later on opens up different doors, right? Of course, the money situation, like once you make a certain kind of money, that opens up certain kind of doors, right? That's just facts, right? But it all starts with, like, what are you seeking for? And how are you going to go get it instead of waiting for somebody to put it on your lap?
I like that. That caught me by surprise. I thought, nice. Yeah, that caught me by surprise. I thought you were going to answer the question straight up, and then you said, no, you actually create an opportunity if you don't have one. I like that. I love that. That's really good. One of the things that I've always kind of reminded myself is if you reach a point where you don't know what to work on, because that's what I consider a season of no opportunity, right? What you would consider a season of no opportunity. Now, I'm with you to an extent that you can create an opportunity. You create an opportunity when you're the right person, when you have the right skill sets.
Yeah.
But when you still can't find an opportunity or create one, chances are there's something missing. So whenever you can't find an opportunity or create one, or whenever you don't know what to work on, you should work on yourself. All right. That I think is an underlying rule. Whenever you don't know what to work on yourself, right? Work on your communication skills, work on your leadership skills, work on literally becoming the right person, because opportunities are created and attracted to the right people. So the reason why we say work while you wait, because we don't want you to say, oh man, I got nothing right now, I'm just going to sit and wait because you said wait on the right opportunity. No. We're saying work while you wait. And if you don't know what to work on, then work on yourself. So there's that fine line of like, if you can create an opportunity, you probably you've been doing that work. Like you've been consistent and active in getting that self-work in. But if you've spent some time and you have the desire to be somewhere and you haven't yet made that happen, then you need to work on yourself, right? And that's probably my favorite part of the journey. To be honest with you, like every single season or every time I get away from that part of the equation, I always see like I'm humbled quickly. Like I felt like a couple months ago really got sat down like, boy, you ain't doing nothing. Like you ain't doing nothing. You ain't as sweet as you think you are. You ain't as smart as you think you are. That's all my doing. So I'm like, oh shoot, and you mentioned humility and like being humble. And I'm like, yo, I never thought I had this issue, but I guess because I may have struggled with confidence at times, I push myself to a degree that I become arrogant towards self. Like I'm arrogant against, if that even makes sense, like with myself. And I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta stay humble to my own process. I can't get somewhere and immediately or shortly thereafter stop doing the things that got me to that position or opportunity. That's like, again, you talk about dangers and mistakes that can ruin your success or your momentum is, don't stop doing the thing that got you the opportunity or the thing that you worked so hard to get. Like when you get there, at bare minimum, you should be doing the same amount, if not more. So there are just like some, I don't want to call them life hacks, but just like outlooks and perspectives and traits of being the right person that are necessary to be okay with a waiting season, to be okay with stepping in a space where you're just nurturing what you have, not looking to do any more, not looking to expand or scale because that's what everyone's trying to do. But no, you're like, nope, that's your season. My season calls me to be faithful over what I have or what I've built and just kind of take care of those people. So I'm like, yo, there's just a lot of different areas. And by all means, listen, like for everyone on the live right now, you're listening to us and we're grateful for it. But leave a filter between yourself and the information that you're receiving to really recognize, yo, is what they're saying relevant for me in the season that I'm in right now? Or is this something that I can take on and say, all right, this is something I might need to apply in 6 months, or I like what they said, I haven't done that before. Let me prepare to do that in my next season. Because not everything that you take, this is the quickest way to lose momentum. If I'm trying to take a little bit of Nicky's, a little bit of me, a little bit of that, a little bit of her, like it becomes a whole bunch of nothingness. So just know that there's got to be a filter between you and the information that you receive to recognize, okay, is this right for me right now? Should I be applying this, or should I make note of it for another season? So those are just like some things that I'm picking up along the way, Nick, as it relates to like working, waiting, being patient, being humble, staying a student. That, again, as cliche as they sound, all stuff that's relevant.
And I super agree with you with like working on yourself. The issue is that people have a problem blaming themselves to find out that they need to work on themselves, right? So I always look at it from a standpoint of like relationships. Like you keep getting in the same kind of situations. You continue to blame the other people. Like they ain't this, they ain't that. I keep attracting this, that, and the third. Yeah, you keep attracting these situations. You keep having these problems. You got to sit down and you got to look and be like, all right, what about me, right? And so people connect with that from a relational standpoint a little bit more easier than an opportunity standpoint, right? And at some point there needs to be like just a checkpoint. Like there's just in the, I don't know, every quarter, every 6 months, something like that. Like, how many opportunities did I not create? How many opportunities did I pass up? How many opportunities did I mess up? And if I messed them up, why? Like, what is it? Like, and really having that true heart to heart. But what people don't like doing is blaming themselves. And it takes years for them to be like, it was me. Yeah, I needed to do this differently. I needed to do that differently. And even those who do admit the first 5, 10, 15 times, yeah, it's me. I'm going to do it differently. That's it. I'm going to do it. And it never happens. It's like, that even needs to get checked.
Yeah.
Like that, but okay, now you're blaming yourself too much that you even paralyze yourself.
Yeah.
You almost came to an acceptance of like, that's me, right? And we've had this conversation. That's why, like, we reference the flight assessment a lot, but I despise those people that take the flight assessment and have it as a clutch, like, I'm this way because I'm a ground I'm this way because I'm a pilot, I'm this way because no, it makes you self-aware, doesn't give you an excuse. And so, like, that's another dangerous part when you're too self-aware that you're just like, this is me, accept it. Hello, right. It's not going to change. Sorry, all my flaws are all my flaws, and you're just going to accept all of them. Okay, no, we won't. No. God is supposed to accept. Not me. I ain't got to do nothing but breathe. I don't got to do a single thing, right? But that's why it's like, check yourself. If you can be honest with that, but for those who are OD on it too, finally do something about it. Seriously.
Yeah. I love that. I want to do something real quick before we begin to wrap here. There's, let's say, 35, however many people are on the live right now. Do me a favor. If you've been tuned in for some time, just drop a takeaway in the comments. Drop a takeaway because, again, I realized that the most brilliant people, it's not the one who's speaking. It's not those who are teaching. It's the collective group. It's the collective community. So if each of you were to drop a takeaway like, this hit me in my season. This made sense. I like this. I like that. Or you may have gotten nothing. You may have not got anything, but you thought about something or it triggered an idea or a question or something that you want to dig deeper on. But do me a favor, just drop that. I'm really big on this each one, teach one type of community. And the only way we do that is when we recognize that really, truly, we are all leaders, right? It's more of almost like a roundtable discussion than it is just, as of right now, it's just only you and Nicky and I that you can hear, but we can see all of your comments. So point is, drop some takeaways in the comments before you wrap. I'm sure these comments are visible to people who watch the replay, Nicks. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So people coming in the replay, they can even speed ahead to that part and just take the takeaways, which is like cliff notes. So yeah, if you've gotten any value from that, please, that's my ask. Just drop something and say, hey, here's where I'm at. Here's what I got. Here's what I took away. I think that would be really appreciated. So, yeah.
They will. There's a little delay, so let them.
I know. Yeah, for sure.
Let them type.
For sure.
Let them type.
For sure.
But as we wait, okay. Little quick note, All Access Squad for Apple Podcast listeners. Okay, the new after show is dropping tomorrow. Shout out to all our All Access Squad. Right, that community is growing in itself. So new one drops the same time as the video for this week's episode drops, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. So shout out to all our All Access Squad. And shout out to everybody who didn't make fun of me on this episode that I couldn't speak for some reason. Shout out to Isaiah. Isaiah was like, yo, big fun made me die. Like, I was like, I couldn't talk for some reason. I know why, but like, I'm just going to say I couldn't talk. It is what it is. Uh-oh, here we go. We got some people. So, shout out to Trenton. That's another day one. Just because you're self-aware don't give you a pass not to change. You don't like what you see, then you have to fix it. You know what I mean? See you. I see you.
What's up?
Access what assess. Yes. Okay. I'm going to say that. Yeah. And possibly. What season you are in and what you should and shouldn't apply in the moment. I need that gem. I must keep building. Oh, wait. Come back. All right. Keep building where I am to keep that foundation to build on. Shout out to Nick. Nick said, working more diligently after you've gotten the opportunity or after a sense of completion. Don't get comfortable. Work harder. I like that. That's a bar. Yeah. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a lot of people. Shout out to the bookers. I see y'all. Here's another one. Patient while I grind and build it right. Okay. Hold on. You were skipping like a 90s CD. I hate you. I hate you. Oh my God. No, I love Isaiah, but I hate you at the same time. Anyways, what else we doing, Moose? What else we doing?
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, I want it to be purposeful and not just like sheer entertainment or just for the sake of doing that. So, man, if you could, I don't know, maybe for you need to take a couple minutes after this live and just reflect on it, right? And just really analyze what season you're in. Right? Like I did a training last week with a team of agents, and it's here locally. Actually, it was only like about an hour away. But I was just telling them, because their job is sales, like they're a real estate agent. And I was just telling them, like, you got to understand that the consumer is really educated on sales and sales tactics. Mm-hmm. Like, we can't keep selling or using those tactics with the expectation that we're going to trick people or be able to push a sale on somebody. Like, we got to get over that mentality of trying to like take advantage of people or just push our agenda ahead of their needs, and really start educating people. Like, really, truly help them understand the process. And just know 99% of the people are not going to want to learn your process so that they can replace you and do it themselves. Guarantee. You're looking at two people, one for sure, who will pay for the convenience and pay premium dollar for it. I'm talking about Nikki because she does that all the time. So just know, like, and again, that's that reassurance. Like, man, whatever your sweet sauce is, don't worry about somebody taking it from you and trying to replace you. That's not what it's about. So my point is, and the reason why I'm slowing down at the end, I don't want it just to be like, oh, wow, this was so fire. You just kept saying everything. Nope. I want this stuff to be actionable for you. I want this stuff to be reflective for you, meaning you can take some of these lessons and do something with it, right? So that's what I'm saying. At the end of this, if you need to take a couple minutes just to reflect, to write, to put some of this stuff into practice, do that, right? And we're slowing down towards the end to do that for you. At some point, we'll probably even start leaving some time for questions too. I know we were doing that early on, but again, just want to do more of the dialogue between ourselves and those who are tuning in and continuing to show us love. So appreciate you for that, man. If you got some value from this too, also maybe send one of your takeaways to a friend or something. Be like, hey, this is a bar that I think you might need to hear, right? Take this into consideration. And as always, Nix, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for thanks for allowing us to engage in this type of dialogue and pulling this stuff out. This is always super helpful.
I was able to be transparent. Yeah. And you not stop me. You know what I mean?
No.
I know what I could talk about. About. Like, as long as it's me, you can't tell me I can't speak on me. You know what I mean? You're like,
that is fair.
I like that. It's like, let this episode marinate. You know what I mean? Let this episode marinate. Anyways, we are out. So come holla at us. Same time, same place. Okay. YouTube Live, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. 5 p.m. West Coast. Like I said, tomorrow the full video is dropping. Okay, or whenever you watch this. Okay, full video may be already out. I don't know how long you're gonna wait to watch this, right? And All Access Squad Apple Podcast gives you an exclusive bonus episodes called the After Show. Shout out to Inky for the intro. What did we talk about in the after show? We went deeper into the influence.
Travis breakdown.
Yeah, we went real deep into like what it really takes to create that type of influence. In which I'm reading a book called Influence, and I should have added my own. I had so much more to add. I promise you. May have to do a double take on it. But we are out. Moose, appreciate you.
Thank you.
You already know what we're gonna say.
Hey,